Hello everybody, welcome back to the sessions on power electronics by Ramana. This is the 13th session in which we will continue to discuss the converters, particularly full wave converters. Up to the previous sessions, we have discussed the working and construction and design of half wave converters. Again, in that, uncontrolled and controlled converters with various loads, that is resistive and inductance load, and also RL, that is resistive and inductive load, along with the freewheeling diode. Also, we have developed the waveforms and the load voltage and currents. All those things will be discussed on the similar lines in application to full wave converters, that is the converters which will rectify full cycle or full wave of the input AC supply. These are the things we have discussed already, and to continue with, in this session we will discuss the following types of single phase full wave converters, working of single phase full wave midpoint converters, working of single phase full wave bridge converter with R load, derivation of average output voltage and R load, all those things. To start with, what is a full wave converter? Just according to the basics of the rectification, full wave conversion is nothing but converting both the half cycles of input AC supply into positive, or to come in one direction, that is only positive, or negative also can be done separately. So that is, positive half cycle will be given as positive itself, and negative will also be given as positive half cycle. In case of half wave rectification or half wave converters, only the positive half cycle was allowed to be given to the load, whereas negative half cycle was totally blocked. So load was getting only positive half cycles, and that too UDC, unidirectional current. When it comes to full wave, it is simple extension of half wave, where positive half cycle will be allowed as it is, and negative half cycle will be allowed or converted into positive, or in both the half cycles the current direction and voltage direction across the load will be maintained same. That is full wave conversion. So to make this possible, you need at least two devices, switching devices, and to operate them you need at least two triggering pulses, one for each half cycle. That is what is discussed over here. A full converter, that is full wave converter, produces two load current pulses during one cycle of supply voltage. One cycle means positive half cycle and negative half cycle. In positive half cycle one pulse is needed, in negative half cycle also another pulse is needed. In case of half wave rectification, it was triggered or controlled only in one half cycle, positive half cycle, only one pulse was needed, only one current pulse was needed during one cycle. So obviously, as two half cycles are flowing through the load in case of full wave conversion, average output voltage as well as the current will be more when compared to half wave, because in half wave there will not be any voltage or current throughout the negative half cycle, whereas in case of full wave conversion, negative half cycle is converted into positive half cycle. So both positive and negative half cycles will be appearing as two continuous positive half cycles, resulting in increase in average output voltage or load voltage and current. So that is the basic idea of full wave conversion, where you need to trigger the required switches according to the current direction you want. These are some diagrams from which you can compare that. This is what we have discussed already, half wave conversion, where only positive half cycle is allowed to be applied to the load, and during the negative half cycle or this total negative supply voltage is blocked and load will not be getting any negative or positive load voltage or load current during this time. That is only 0 to pi the load will be getting current and voltage. This is your half wave conversion. Whereas full wave conversion, positive is just similar to the half wave, and the negative supply voltage is converted to positive supply voltage, and accordingly current will also be flowing in the positive direction. So now the voltage as well as current will be flowing through both the half cycles. When compared to these two, it is obvious that the average load voltage will be more when compared to half wave, and also more load current or more average load current will be there in case of full wave conversion. And to go through the actual things, to divide the single phase full converters, it is done as based on the devices. Devices means power electronic devices which are either controllable or uncontrollable. First things are uncontrolled converter. Uncontrolled means it contains the power electronic devices of which the turn on and turn off times cannot be controlled. That is, obviously it will contain only diodes. May it be half wave or full wave, it will be containing only diodes. Next one is half controlled or semi-controlled or semi-converter, which contains a combination of SCRs and diodes. An SCR and a diode will be acting together in tandem. So only one SCR can be controlled, whereas a diode which is conducting in follow-up with the SCR cannot be controlled. This is half controlled converter. Fully controlled converter, it contains obviously only SCRs or any controllable device, power electronic devices can also be used. In our discussions, we will be confine our discussions to only SCRs. In place of SCRs, any controllable power electronic device can be used. MOSFETs, IGBTs, anything, or GTO SCRs likewise. So this is based on the controllability, of the circuit. Next, based on the circuit configuration, how the circuit is connected. It is midpoint or also called as center tap transformer. The name comes from the supply which is given from the transformer with a center tap. It is also called as midpoint transformer. And the other one is bridge circuit. This is the most extensively used one and most useful one, which will be going to be discussed elaboratedly in our sessions. In our syllabus, basically we will be discussing for full wave conversion. Bridge circuit workings are discussed, whereas in this session I'll try to introduce to you just the basic concepts of midpoint or center tap transformer also. So what does an uncontrolled full wave converter does? Uncontrolled means it consists of only diode. It consists of only diodes. May it be center tap transformer or bridge type. It converts AC supply into constant or unidirectional DC output voltage. Obviously, when you consider single phase AC sources, AC supply is variable, and particularly it is a sinusoid. That is what we are going to discuss, the sinusoidal input voltage. But this AC can be any periodic and symmetric which can be varying from positive to negative values or alternating current or voltages. So this AC can also be constant AC supply, that is throughout the positive half cycle voltage may be constant, current may be constant, but it changes its values from positive to negative in the next half cycle. Again voltage and currents will be constant. That may also be there, such sources may also be there. So that can also be converted into full wave conversion. Obviously the output voltage will be unidirectional. The conduction of the device and level of DC output voltage cannot be controlled, as the turn on and turn off actions cannot be controlled. Obviously the device conduction times and the DC output voltage level or the average effect cannot be controlled. It uses diodes only, of which the turn on and turn off cannot be controlled. So this is a type of bridge converter, a single phase uncontrolled converter, that too connected in a bridge configuration where only diodes are connected. D1, D2 will be conducting together and D3 and D4 will be conducting together, which we will be discussing elaboratedly in the following discussion in this session. So as this is containing only diodes, it is uncontrolled converter. Again load can be anything or RL or combination, which is a DC load. For uncontrolled full wave converter, whatever sinusoidal voltage you are getting in positive, it will be appearing across the load as it is, and whatever negative sinusoid which is fed from the supply voltage, it will be converted into positive value, and in terms of magnitude and variations it will be just similar to this negative wave, or eventually the load will be getting full positive voltage which is varying us as a half sinusoid, of which we can regard it as if the net effect is an average output voltage of constant magnitude is applied across the load. This is of uncontrolled converters where it is a UDC, unidirectional current. Half controlled full wave converter, that is what this thing and this circuit. It converts AC supply voltage into limited range of controlled DC output voltage, where DC output voltage control is from 0 to 2 Vm by pi, or you can consider this as 0 to Vm by pi by 2, Vm by pi by 2. That is the range over which you can control. It uses diodes and SCRs. So half controlled, as the name indicates, it is semi, combination of SCRs and diodes. The same bridge circuit which we have gone through can be visualized over here. In the previous circuit all the devices were diodes. In this now an SCR is replaced by a diode in both the directions. How these will work we will discuss later, and just remember that in the previous circuit D1 and D2 were conducting together and D3 and D4 were conducting together. Here in this case, in this circuit, T1 and D2 will conduct together in the positive half cycle. In the negative half cycle, T2 and D1 will conduct together. But the thing is, when all the devices are diodes, they will conduct in the forward biased condition only when the forward breakover voltage is reached. But in this case, when you take the combinations, this T1 can be triggered by applying a gate pulse at whatever alpha you want, and accordingly you can control the turn on time. So that is semi conversion or half control. You cannot control the conduction of D2, only you can control the conduction of either T1 or T2 in positive and negative half cycles. So this is the waveform in the previous circuit when the total devices were uncontrolled. Waveform was just similar to supply voltage from 0 to alpha. Whatever supply voltage which was there in the uncontrolled, that was appearing across the load, or full sinusoid was applying across the load. In the half control, where you are turning on the SCR at an angle alpha, from 0 to alpha, load will not be getting any voltage. The SCR will be blocking the total supply voltage. And similarly, during the negative half cycle, we will be triggering the next set of SCR and diode. In that, the second SCR is turned on at pi plus alpha. So the load will be getting a voltage like this. Between pi to pi plus alpha, the total voltage will be blocked, negative voltage will be blocked by the SCR, which will be forward biased to that set. So after discussing these uncontrolled and half controlled full wave converters or rectifiers, we will switch over to the main topic of today's discussion, that is full wave fully controlled converter. Full wave fully controlled converter. This can also be called as full wave controlled converter simply. You need not say fully. If it is said as controlled converter, it is deemed to be understood that it is containing all the controllable devices. It converts AC supply voltage into wide range of controllable DC output voltage. Again, this AC can be constant AC also, and we will be discussing only sinusoidal AC in our discussions. The range of controllable average DC output voltage is from minus 2 Vm by pi to 2 Vm by pi, or minus Vm by pi by 2 to Vm by plus Vm by pi by 2. That is double when compared to the previous, that is semi-controlled action. In case of semi-controlled or half-wave controlled converter, it is the range of DC output voltage control is 0 to 2 Vm by pi. Added to that, minus 2 Vm by pi to 0 can also be controlled. So the range is doubled in the case of full wave fully controlled converter. Whereas minus 2 Vm by pi to 0 is called as the inversion operation. Inversion operation. Whereas 0 to 2 Vm by pi is the conversion operation. These things again will be discussed elaboratedly in the following sessions, not in this. When we will be considering RL loads, then we will try to discuss these things elaboratedly. Actually, though this is a rectifier, during this triggering action, during this range, if alpha falls in this range, a sort of inverting action takes place. That is, it will be converted into DC, but it becomes negative. Okay, it becomes negative. Those things will be discussed in the follow-up sessions. To start with, full wave fully controlled converters. Again, these are mainly divided as two, which we have seen in the previous slides, that is midpoint configuration and bridge configuration. So far, whatever circuits we have gone through in the previous slides, they are mainly bridge type of configurations. Now we will also have a look over a midpoint configuration for understanding sake. It is single phase full wave fully controlled midpoint converter. Midpoint converter. It is nothing but two SCRs connected in series with A given load may be resistive or resistive and inductance are also along with the supply uh, regenerating voltage. But the supply voltage to this combination is fed via the secondary of a transformer, which has a center tap, which has a tapping on its secondary at exactly half. Now the load voltage which is required, that should be equal to, or the output voltage of this half of secondary should be equal to load voltage which is necessary to drive it. Or if this is a 220 volt DC motor, then the secondary output voltage of this transformer should be at least 220 voltage, and again the other half should also be 220 volts. Means this transformer should have either 1:2 or 1:1 ratio, but the half of the secondary winding of this transformer should be able to supply the full rated voltage of the load. And as it is connected to the midpoint of the secondary, it is called as midpoint conversion. And as the supply is taken from a center tap transformer, this is also called as center tap transformer method. Just before going to the actual working, just try to realize the first half, upper half, where the SCR is connected in series with the load and the supply is from the secondary of the transformer. This is nothing but a single phase AC supply. And you can visualize this as a simple half wave rectifier. Simple half wave rectifier which converts positive half cycle into positive and will block negative. Means this SCR will be blocking the negative voltage to enter from entering the load. And in the same circuit here we have provided another SCR which can allow the negative supply to flow through the load. Means you have added another SCR. Means you have added another SCR so that negative half cycle of the supply voltage is also fed to the load. But what about the direction? Just go through it. In the positive half cycle, where A is the phase, A acts as the phase and this point N acts as the neutral. The current, when the SCR1 is forward biased and conducts, current flows from A, SCR1, load and neutral back to A in the direction right to left in this figure. And when during the negative half cycle, it flows from B and the then forward biased and conducting SCR2, it will flow through the load neutral to B back, and again the current direction through the load is maintained from right to left. That is, current direction has not been changed. So means this negative half cycle will be converted into positive half cycle, and this load will be getting a UDC, unidirectional current. And the other things can be understood according to what we have discussed in the previous sessions. In the positive half cycle, SCR1 is triggered at an angle alpha. In the negative half cycle, SCR2 will be triggered at an angle pi plus alpha, and the cycle continues. From 0 to alpha, load will not be getting any voltage, totally blocked by SCR. When the load is only resistive, SCR will be blocking totally. But as in this case, load is the combination of R and L, that is resistance and inductance. That is where negative voltage will also be appearing across for some time between 0 to alpha. The actual load voltage from alpha to pi will be following the supply voltage, and due to the inductive action, current will not become zero. Negative voltage will still be appearing across the load, and current takes some time to decrease to its minimum value or zero value depending on the inductance. And this is the waveform for the SCR, which it will be blocking. SCR1, that is VT1, SCR1 will be blocking the total reverse voltage during the negative half cycle. Likewise, SCR2 will be blocking the positive half cycle of the supply voltage, which will be the reverse voltage for itself. It will be blocking its total reverse voltage. So this thing is similar to what we have discussed in the previous session, where the load was inductive, for half wave rectification. These things, that is from 0 to alpha, pi to pi plus alpha, during which negative voltage is there, this has to be nullified or eliminated. This effect has to be eliminated. That can be done by a freewheeling diode, as discussed in the previous session, which is shown over here in this case. For this midpoint configuration also, simply connect a freewheel diode, a simple PN junction diode, in anti-parallel to the load. This is the concept of freewheeling diode in whatever circuit, may it be half wave, full wave, bridge, or center tapped, or even for other control devices using. Then also, freewheeling diode is always connected in anti-parallel to the load itself. You need not bother to connect it anywhere. So just go through the waveforms again. The effect of this inductive action, that is negative voltage appearing across the load, is nullified, or load becomes zero at pi itself. And also at the end of the negative half cycle, the load voltage becomes 0 at 2 pi itself because of the freewheeling action, and the current will be maintained in the same direction as the load. In this figure, current is deemed to be taken as if it were flowing as a constant, but it will be a current like this, and this current may not be continuous or may be continuous depending on the value of the inductance of the or load inductance. May it be half wave configuration or full wave configuration with midpoint or bridge circuits, the current will be continuous, or current can be made to be continuous with high inductive values and low alpha. That will be called as continuous conduction mode, where there will not be any break in the current waveform. When the load inductance is less, there appears a gap before the next SCR is fired at pi plus alpha. Current will become to its minimum value, and there will be a gap in between. That will be a discontinuous mode of operation. In most of the circuit, it will be tuned, and even the firing angle will also be tuned to the inductive value, so that current will be continuous, and mostly we will be using them as continuous conduction mode. And these things are applicable to bridge configuration also. Now we will switch over to the actual discussion of today's topic, that is full wave fully controlled bridge converter, where fully controlled means all controllable devices in this circuit will be considering only SCRs. 4 SCRs are connected in a bridge configuration for conversion. This is for a resistive load. We will be discussing the working of this bridge converter for resistive load first. Just to go through the circuit, single phase sinusoidal supply voltage is there. During the positive half cycle, this upper terminal acts as phase, bottom terminal acts as the return or neutral. So now the voltage and current AC will flow from this phase via this T1 or SCR1 and comes over here like this. And T3 current tries to flow in this direction, but T3 is reverse biased, so it cannot flow like this. It takes the other path where I0 is shown like this. It flows through R and again comes over here in these two directions where it enters T2, which is forward biased, and comes back to the neutral, and the circuit is or path is completed. Whereas if the current goes in this direction T4, it will go to T1, the path will not be closed or circuit is not completed. So there will not, don't get confused with that, T4 will also be biased. Actually T1 and T2 will be getting their forward voltages, they are forward biased. T3 and T4, which will act together, will be reverse biased, reverse voltage will be appearing across them. So once you switch on the supply, T1 and T2, which are forward biased, will be triggered or fired at a given angle alpha, they will conduct. Current flows via SCR1 load and SCR2 back. Whereas the same forward voltage will be blocked by this T3 and T4. And during negative half cycle, the reverse occurs, that is, now this becomes phase, current flows via T2, sorry, excuse me, yes, it tries to flow via T2, but now T2 will be reverse biased due to this negative voltage. It enters T3, which will be forward biased then during the negative half cycle. So current flows via T3, load, T4 and back to the then neutral. So during the negative half cycle, T3 and T4 are forward biased, whereas T1 and T2 will be reverse biased, which will not conduct. And T3 and T4, which are forward biased, will be triggered at the required firing angle alpha, then they will conduct. In both the cases, the direction of current through the load is same. In this figure, it is top to bottom, that is unidirectional current, or current direction is same, or you have achieved DC current to flow through the load. Even the load voltage is also in the same direction, so load voltage is also in the same. T1 and T, just to go through, T1 and T2 are forward biased, T3 and T4 are reverse biased during positive half cycle of supply voltage. They will be triggered when firing pulses are applied at a given value of firing angle alpha. So T1 and T2 act as short circuit, T3 and T4 act as open circuit. They will block the voltage, positive voltage. Current flows through T1 load and T2. Full supply voltage appears across resistive load called output voltage V0. At omega t equal to pi, source voltage crosses 0. This is the most important thing which you have to understand. Obviously at pi or 180 degrees, that is the end of a given half cycle, source voltage becomes negative or it goes in the other direction. So obviously the set of SCRs which are in conduction during the previous cycle will get turned off now during the apply of reversal of voltage, or natural commutation occurs, or phase commutation occurs. T1 and T2 will be turned off by natural commutation. Same things will be repeated in negative half cycle. This you can understand for positive half cycle, where T1 and T2 are closed, current flows from T1 load and T2 back to the source, whereas T3 and T4 are open, so they will not be conducting. Similarly, you can visualize this thing for negative half cycle also. T3 and T4 are forward biased. T3 and T4 will be triggered at pi plus alpha. Now T1 and T2 will be acting as open circuit. They will not conduct, they will be blocking the voltage, whereas T3 and T4 are now short circuited. Current flows via this terminal from T3 in the same direction as the previous one through the load, through T4 back to the source. That is how it works in negative half cycle. full supply voltage appears across the resistive load and called as output voltage. At omega t equal to 2 pi, source voltage crosses 0 and becomes positive. T3 and T4 are now reverse biased, so they are turned off by natural commutation. So the sequence of operation discussed for positive half cycle and negative half cycle will be repeated for subsequent cycles of supply sources. So this is the working of full wave controlled converter in bridge configuration, or full wave controlled bridge converter, or full wave fully controlled bridge converter with resistive load. These are the waveforms which we will discuss from starting again. Supply voltage, a sinusoidal single phase supply voltage, and these are the voltage and current waveforms given to the load. During the positive half cycle, this set of SCRs T1 and T2 are forward biased, but they are not triggered at zero itself. Depending on the requirement, they can be triggered at zero itself, but normally not done. So the set of SCRs T1 and T2 are triggered at alpha. The gate pulse is given at alpha. Until that moment, those SCRs will be blocking the forward voltage. So the load voltage will be 0 from 0 to alpha. And when T1 and T2 are turned on, full supply voltage as it is will be applied across the load. It will be appearing across the load as it is. And current will also follow the same as the voltage, as it is a resistive voltage. Current will be in same phase with the voltage, but there will be a difference of magnitude. Current will be flowing through T1 load and T2 and source. So the conduction takes place from alpha to pi. And at pi, that is 180 degrees, the source changes from positive to negative. It crosses over 0.0 voltage point, that is it is becoming negative. Because of this negative voltage, T1 and T2 will be immediately reverse biased, or reverse voltage appears across T1 and T2. They will be turned off by natural commutation or line commutation. And again, between pi to alpha, there will not be any voltage fed to the load, as T3 and T4 will be forward biased with negative voltage, but they are not turned on. When gate pulse is applied to T3 and T4 at an angle pi plus alpha, then T3 and T4, the set of SCRs, will start to conduct. But as the direction of current through the load is same, as the previous one, the voltage will be positive instead of negative. Same sinusoidal voltage will be appearing across the load, but in the positive direction, as well as current will also follow the same pattern. It will be in same phase with the voltage, but with a different magnitude, or simply V0 by R. I0 will be equal to V0 by R. Again, in this half cycle, conduction takes place from pi plus alpha to 2 pi. At 2 pi, supply voltage now reverses from negative to positive, or at 360 degrees or 2 pi radians, it crosses 0. So the set of SCRs which are conducting till that moment, that is T3 and T4, will be reverse bias, and they will be turned off automatically by natural commutation. And again, when T1 and T2 are triggered at 2 pi plus alpha, the cycle repeats for the subsequent cycles. That is how the waveforms are developed for a single phase full wave, fully controlled bridge rectifier with resistive load or R load. So from this, now it is clear that load is getting unidirectional voltage and currents for more time when compared to half wave converter. In case of half wave converter, voltage and currents for appearing or the conduction time was from only alpha to pi. From pi to 2 pi plus alpha, from pi to 2 pi plus alpha, conduction was not there. So average value of DC voltage and currents were less in case of half wave conversion. In case of full wave conversion, when you take a full cycle of supply voltage, in both the half cycles, load will be getting its voltage and current. So net voltage or average value of DC current will be increasing, will increase now. And also the controllable voltage range will also increase. Both the load current I0 and load voltage are unidirectional for both half cycles of supply. From the waveform of output voltage which we have discussed just now, V0 can be calculated as the average value over a full cycle. So it is 1 by 2 pi. You are taking the average over the full cycle. So denominator is 2 pi. And you have to take the integral of the equation from alpha to 2 pi, which is the actual conduction angle. And this actually from pi to pi plus alpha, it will be 0. It doesn't matter, it will be coming as 0. This can also be written as alpha to pi Vs d omega t plus pi plus alpha to 2 pi Vs d omega t. It doesn't matter, ultimately it comes out to be, because they are symmetric and of equal values, it can be taken as simply for a given half cycle 1 by pi 1 by pi alpha to pi Vs d omega t. When you take the integral and simplify, it comes out to be V0 is equal to Vm by pi 1 plus cos alpha. Alpha is nothing but the firing angle or triggering angle, as you know, and for various values of alpha, V0 will be changing, like at alpha is equal to 0 degrees. That is cos 0 will be 1, that is 2 Vm by pi. 2 Vm by pi. When alpha is pi by 2, that is 90 degrees, cos 90 is 0, so it will be equal to Vm by pi. At pi, that is 180 degrees, it becomes minus 1, so total becomes 0. So the average value ranges from 2 Vm by pi to 0. 2 Vm by pi to 0, you have to take the average of these two things. When the firing angle alpha is increased, the output voltage V0 decreases. Average load current is V0 by R, simply Vm by pi R into 1 plus cos alpha. The pair of SCRs T1 and T2 and T3 and T4 are reverse biased for pi radians alternatively. For every pi radians, T1 and T2 and T3, T4 are reverse biased. Or when T1 and T2 are conducting from 0 to pi, T3, T4 will be reverse biased. And when T3, T4 are conducting from pi plus alpha to 2 pi, during this half cycle, T1 and T2 are reverse biased. So circuit turn off time should be equal to the given negative half cycle to that pair of SCRs. Hence the circuit turn off time Tc is equal to pi 180 degrees range by omega second. Pi by omega seconds in terms of seconds. So that is how the conversion varies with varying firing angle. More firing angle, less average voltage and currents you will get. Obviously, from the waveforms you can understand that if alpha is more, conduction will be less, average value will decrease. And there will be certain limits for this firing angle also for practical operations. They are not in the scope of this discussion. let us discuss them when time permits in the next sessions. So to summarize, load current is unidirectional for both the half cycles of supply voltage. The output voltage is also unidirectional, that is DC. Average DC output voltage, just which we have calculated, is Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. As the firing angle alpha increases, the average DC output voltage will decrease. The controllable range of average DC output voltage is 0 to 2 Vm by pi. Controllable voltage range. So this is the controllable voltage range where you can change, or simply it is nothing but controllable voltage range is nothing but controllable firing angle range is from 0 to pi. In that, voltage range is 2 Vm by pi to 0. In this range you can change. So in a given half cycle you can control the average DC output voltage in this range. The total number of thyristors or SCRs required for single phase fully controlled converter. Fully controlled means all controllable devices. It is 1, 2 or 3 or 4. According to our discussions, for bridge configuration it is 4. If it is a center point or center tapped or midpoint, it will be 2. It is not mentioned over here, so take it as a bridge. So answer is 4. 2 may also be correct if the circuit is midpoint. Average current through a pure resistive load in a single phase fully controlled converter is expressed by average current. So simply V0 by R. V0 by R. You can also see the other expressions. Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. This is V0. Vm by pi r into 1 plus cos alpha. So Vm by pi r into 1 plus cos alpha is correct. So both A and B are correct. Maximum value of average DC output voltage across the pure resistive load of single phase fully controlled converter is, as we have already gone through it, it is 2 Vm by pi. 2 Vm by pi, where we have seen by varying the alpha. The value of average DC output voltage across a pure resistive load of single phase fully controlled converter when alpha is equal to 60 degrees. That is, substitute alpha is equal to 60 degrees in case of cos alpha. DC output voltage, that is, your equation is Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha, that is cos 60. Cos 60 is half. It is 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is 1.5. Accordingly calculated. It is given in terms of Vm. Vm by pi into 1 plus cos alpha. Three by 2. It should be 1.5 Vm by pi. The answers 1.5 by pi into Vm. It will come around 1.5 by 3 point, that is around 0.54 Vm, almost half. The controllable range of DC output voltage across a pure resistive load of single phase full wave fully controlled converter is, just now we have gone through that, 0 to 2 Vm by pi, or 2 Vm by pi to 0. So that is all for today's session, where we have discussed the single phase, full wave, fully controlled converters, their types, working of center tap transformer or midpoint configuration type of converters, just an overview. And we have elaborately discussed the single phase, full wave, fully controlled bridge converter. In this session, we will continue our discussion on the same thing when the load is RL, that is when an inductive load is taken, how the circuit will perform, how these waveforms will change, and we'll try to compare it with the half wave conversion also. Thank you.